Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Rabbi.
This week is Parashas Balak, Tavshin, Tavshin Pehei, um, and today's learning has been sponsored by Barry Steinberg in memory of Ita Gold Abbas Abraham Yosef, Eleanor Gail Razamovsky, Neshama Shavan Aliyah.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to try to touch tonight on a couple of points at the beginning of the Parsha. Let's start from the beginning. Perek Chaf Beis, chapter 22, Pasuk Beis, verse 2. Okay. Vayar Balak ben Sipar, Eis Kol Asher Asa Yisrael Amori. Balak, the son of Sipar, saw everything that the Jewish people had done to the Amorite. Vayagar Moab Bnei Ha'am Moed Kiravhu. Moab was very frightened of the people because it was great. Vayakatz Moab Bnei Bnei Yisrael. Moab was disgusted in the face of the Jewish people. Vayomer Moab El Ziknei Midyan. So Moab said to the elders of Midyan, now this congregation shall chew up all that is around us, as an ox chews up the greenery of the field. Uvalak ben Sipar melech Moab Beisahi. Balak, the son of Sipar, was the king of Moab at that time. Vayishlach malachim el Bilam ben Ba'ar Pesera. He sent messengers to Bilam, the son of Ba'ar, to Psar, Asher al Anar Eretz B'nai Amai, which is by the river of the land of the member of his people, Likrei Leimar, calling him, saying, Hine Am Yatsa Mitzrayim. Behold, a nation has come out from Egypt. Hine Chisa Aseina Aretz, behold, it has covered the eye of the land, V'huyesh Mimuli, and it rests opposite me. So now please come and curse for me this nation, for it is more powerful than I am. Perhaps I will be able to strike at it, and I shall chase them from the land. So here we have Balak, the king of Moab, very frightened from the Jewish people who are right nearby, and he wants Bilam and Ba'ar, the well-known at the time Gentile prophet, to come curse the Jewish people. Now, what I want to focus on right now is this message. We got to focus on the words of the message. And the message and the words are, behold, a nation has left Egypt, come out of Egypt. Behold, it has covered the eye of the land. That means the appearance of the land, the ability to see the land. Come curse the people for me. Perhaps I'll be able to strike at him. And I shall chase him from the land. So that was Balak's message to Bilam. Now, the messengers from Balak arrive at Bilam, and Bilam says, you have to stay here overnight, and I will see what Hashem responds to me. So now let's skip a few psukim, a few verses, to Pasuk Tes, verse 9. Vayavai Elokim el Bilam. Hashem came to Bilam, Vayomer, and he said, who are these people with you? Vayomer Bilam el Elokim, Balak ben Sipar melech Moab shalach eloi. Bilam said to Hashem, Balak the son of Sipar, king of Moab, had sent them to me. Just as a quick aside, if it's bothering you, what is it? Why did Hashem ask Bilam who they were? But Hashem didn't know who they were. That's the discussion. That's a separate discussion, just in case it's crossing your mind. Now, Bilam is now going to say to Hashem the message from Balak. Hinei ha'am hayotzei mitzrayim. Behold the people coming out from Egypt. Vayachas es eino aretz, and has covered the eye of the land. Now go and curse him for me. Perhaps I'll be able to wage war against him, and the Gerashtiv, and drive it away, or drive it, the nation. So what I want to point out here is, you got to keep your finger here on this pasuk, which was pasuk Yud Aleph 11, and look back at the same time at pasuk Hey, verse 5, when the actual message, the Torah is recording Balak's actual message to Bilam, and then the way Bilam conveys the message to Hashem. There's a couple of differences. First of all, in pasuk Hey, in verse 5, it says, Hinei ami yatsa mimitzrayim. Behold, a people have come out from Egypt. Yatsa. Yatsa means has come out. And this is past tense. This word yatsa is past tense. Behold, the nation that has come out from Egypt. When we go to verse 11, there it says, again, this is Bilam conveying the message of Balak to Hashem. Hine ha'am hayotzei mitzrayim. Behold, the people coming out of Egypt. Coming out is present tense. So again, it's understood. It means the nation coming out means the nation that has come out, but he's changed the wording a little bit. Instead of using the word yatsa, which is past tense, he uses yotzei, coming out, which is present tense. That's the first difference. The next difference is, if you look back at verse 5, the next thing is that Balak says to Bilam, Hine kisa es ein haaretz. Behold, it has covered the eye of the land. Kisa means it has covered. Kisa is past tense. If you look at Pasuk 11, Pasuk at Aleph, verse 11, there the Pasuk reads, Hinei ha'yotzei mitzrayim, behold the nation that is coming out from Egypt, vayechas es ein haaretz. Vayechas, and it has covered. Now, in translation, it's the same. It's past tense. But you'll notice it's in different forms. In Pasuk Hey, it's kisa. It has covered. In Pasuk Aleph, it's vayechas. Now, if you analyze that word vayechas, the verb of covering is yud chav samach, yechas, which actually is future tense. However, in Jewish grammar, we have a rule that a vav at the beginning of a present tense word, the vav, which is a conjugation letter, actually turns the future tense word into past tense. That's why vayechas is translated as, and it has covered. Same translation as kisa, but again, a different form. Bilam uses the word vayechas. Bilam uses the form of, and it has covered, using the future tense with the vav at the beginning, which changes it to past tense. Again, that's a second difference of how Bilam is relaying the message to Hashem.
But in any translation,
Same.
Only different word in Hebrew.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay. Now, and the third difference is that in Pasuk Vav, verse 6, where Balak asks Bilam to curse the people, and he says, Ulai yochal makabo, perhaps I will be able to strike at him. Vagarshenu min haaretz, and I shall chase him from the land. If you look now back at verse Yud Aleph, verse 11, there too, the message is conveyed, Ata l'chal kavali yisai, now go, curse him for me, Ulai uchal lilachem bai, perhaps I'm able to wage war against him. That's another word that's different. Balak said, we will strike, and he used the word lilachem to wage war. The gay rashtiv, and I will drive it away. Doesn't say, and I will drive it from the land, as Balak says. Vagarshenu min haaretz, and I shall drive it from the land. It just says, the gay rashtiv, I will drive it away. Okay, so we have a couple of differences here. How Balak said it to Bilam, and how Bilam conveyed it to Hashem. So Moshe Feinstein explained that, understandably, the message is essentially the same. However, the message is the same, but each one had a different meaning in it. Meaning, each one perceived the threat of the Jewish people in a different way. So, Balak says, "Behold, the nation that has come out of Egypt." Right? They came out. Right? The nation came out, and it's past tense, which means this is a nation that used to be enslaved in Egypt, and they have left Egypt. They left it. They're done with it. Egypt is the past. Okay, and behold, they have covered the land. That means there's a lot of them. They're very strong. Vagarshenu min haaretz, he says, and I will chase them from the land, which means to say that, they're on my border. They're threatening me, or I feel threatened. And therefore, if you curse me, I'll be able to chase them from the land. I'll be able to get them out of my neighborhood. Bilam looks at things. That means, according to Balak looks at the Jewish people as a nation that's forming. They're finished with the past. They're looking towards the future. And therefore, he uses the past tense when he says, the nation has gone out, behold, it is covered. And everything is about what the Jewish people are in right now, in the sense of their nation that has left, they have covered the land, and I want to be able to chase them out from the land. Balak has a much broader view of things. Balak sees the Jewish people as a threat, as an imminent threat. Right now, they're a threat to me based on where they are, and I want them out of here. Balak, he sees things in a much bigger way. He's not just looking at the Jewish people as a threat. Bilam, is not looking at the Jewish people as a threat to Moab. But rather, if we look at verse 11, behold the nation Hayotzei Mitzrayim that is coming out from Egypt. Coming out is present tense. According to Bilam sees the message as a Jewish people, not a people that have come out from Egypt. They are coming out of Egypt. That means that presently they're still coming out. That means presently they are still focused on the fact that they left Egypt. According to Balak, they left. They're done with Egypt. According to Bilam, they're not done with Egypt. On the contrary, they're constantly remembering leaving Egypt. They're constantly thinking about Yetzias Mitzrayim. They constantly think about leaving Egypt and the ramifications of that. We have a mitzvah to do that. The Jewish people live with the fact that they left Egypt, which means they see themselves as a unique people, as the people of God, who have the ability to influence the world in a godly way, and that is something that Bilam does not want. Bilam is not interested in that. Bilam sees them again as Yotzim Mitzrayim. They're going out from Egypt. They live with Yetzias Mitzrayim. They live with the exodus from Egypt. Because with that, they understand their unique relationship with Hashem, their unique position in the world, and that is the threat to Bilam. And that's why Bilam uses the word Vayechas, which, again, we said is essentially the form of a word for the future, but changed to the past with the Vav. Yeah, because Bilam definitely is referring to the fact that here they are, they're covering the earth, they're covering the land. But he's also referring to the fact that they will cover the land. He's also referring to the fact that they will spread godliness in the world. They will cover. They're not just covering here. They will cover more. They will cover Eretz Yisrael. They will cover in many ways. They will cover the world in the influence of spreading the belief in God. They will cover the world when Mashiach comes. Which means that Bilam sees the Jewish people and their destiny as a Jewish people, and that's what he doesn't want. The last part, Megei Rashtiv, where it says, and I will drive it away. Rashi points out here, again, the fact that Balak said, I'll chase him out from the land. And Bilam just says, I will chase it away. Chase it away from where? So Rashi says that Bilam's intent was, min ha'olam, from the world. I want to get rid of it. Ubalak lo yama ela v'garshenu min ha'aretz. Balak just said, I will chase it from the land. All Balak wants is to get away from them, to get away from him. But Bilam hated them even more. Because Bilam, his intention was to destroy the Jewish people. If he's going to get a chance to curse them, his curse is not just going to be a curse to get them away, to weaken them regarding Moab. His purpose is going to be to destroy the Jewish people. And this is all alluded to, this is all brought out in a very subtle way. The subtle changes in the wording that Bilam says when he relates Balak's message, when he relates it to Hashem and he's talking, he's using wording that shows what's really going on in his mind, what deep down is going on in him. He's relaying the message in its simple form. It's the same message as Balak's, but at the same time, from the wording and the changing of the words that he used, this is where we see from the subtle changes in the words, we see what's really going on deep down in the mind of Bilam. That Bilam sees this in a much grander scale. He sees the Jewish people as a threat to him, as a threat to the world, the way he wants to see it, and his purpose is going to be to destroy the world, to destroy the Jewish people. Okay. That's that's the first item. The next thing I want to bring out is the fact that, okay, so after the first time that Hashem speaks to Bilam, he says to Bilam, don't go with them. You're not going. So Bilam says to Balak's emissaries, can't go. Can't go with you. Okay? Balak's not giving up. He sends another group. And this time, when Bilam speaks to Hashem, Hashem says, the wording, the Torah says, this is Pasuk Chaf, verse 20. Vayavay Elokim el Bilam la'ila, Hashem came to Bilam at night. Vayomer and he said to him, Em likrei lechabo anashim kum lechitam. If the men have come to summon you, to honor you, go with them. Va'ach es hadavar shadaber elecha isay saseh. But the word that I speak, but the matter that I speak to you is what you're going to do. So the first time Hashem says to Bilam, don't go. The second time he says, if they're coming to summon you, go. But just remember, you'll only be able to do what I tell you to do. So the question is obvious. Why is Hashem now telling Bilam he can go? First time he said, don't go. And if he doesn't want Bilam to curse the Jewish people, then he should just say, don't go. How come this time he tells him, go, but you can only do what I tell you to do? So Ramesha Feinstein again comments, because Hashem was trying to show us the weakness of Bilam and a lesson for all of us. And that lesson is that Bilam is a prophet, right? One of the biggest mysteries of the Parsha is how Bilam, who's a prophet, knows that Hashem doesn't want him to curse the Jewish people, but goes anyway and tries to find whatever means he can to get away with it until Hashem just basically forces him to bless the Jewish people 3 times.
But he was well known.
Yes.
When Balak asked him,
Yes. Now, so the question is, again, why is he letting him go? And the answer is to really bring up this point. You could have a person like Bilam. He's a prophet. He believes in God. He knows what God really wants, and he anyway goes and tries to do what he wants. And that's brought out here. If Hashem would have just said, stay, you can't move. Instead, what happens, Hashem says, go, but you can only do what I tell you to do. And what does Bilam do? He runs, right? He's got a chance now to go, he runs. As the Pasuk says, the Pasuk says after that, Bilam got up in the morning, he saddled his donkey, he is all ready to go. Now he sees as a chance, he's ready to go. What does he think, that Hashem now is going to change his mind and say you can curse them? Does that really make sense? Is that really logical? Okay, so you have to go through the rest of the parsha and figure out what Bilam was thinking. What did he think he could do? But it's pretty clear. It seems that, again, he knew what Hashem wanted, but he thought he could do it. He'll get it by anyway. Somehow he'll get it by. The Torah is teaching us that if a person can believe in Hashem, he can be a prophet. But if you don't control your desires, you can do anything. It's not going to matter who you are. It's not going to matter what you know and what you recognize. If you don't have that self-control, if you're corrupt like Bilam, you just want to do what you want to do, no matter who you are and what you are. How clear recognize Hashem, your Yetzer Hara, the inclination, will pull you away and to oblivion. If Hashem would never let Bilam have gone, he never would have gone. Finished. He listened. He didn't go. But letting him go, that already shows you that as much as Bilam knows what Hashem really wants, he's going. He's going to try whatever he can do. Once he has a chance, he's going. Again, to teach us the lesson of how a person can be a prophet, he can recognize God, believe in God, be wise, be knowledgeable. But if you're not going to have self-control, it all doesn't matter.
It means he goes and was sure Hashem doesn't change his mind.
Each time Hashem doesn't change his mind, right?
But he did not know about it.
Well, again, at the end of the day, he knew originally what Hashem said to him.
Even he said, go.
He said, go, but you can only do what I tell you to do.
But if you said go, it means for purpose.
No, go means you want to go. You want to get honor? Go. But just remember, you won't be able to do more than what I told you.
Okay. It means he went, but...
But Hashem already told him that, don't think you're going to get away. But at the end, he kept trying. He kept thinking he could do.
You can't bargain.
Okay. Now, the next thing, the last thing I want to share with you is, okay. So what happens is that there are, 3 times he tries to curse the Jewish people, and each time he's forced to bless the Jewish people. And the 3rd time he gives a blessing which are words that we may be familiar with, because we find in the beginning of davening, and that is, this is Perek Chav Dalet, chapter 24, Pasuk Hey, verse 5. Okay, so again, Perek Chav Dalet, chapter 24, Pasuk Hey, verse 5. Ma toivu ahalecha Yaakov, mishkanesecha Yisrael. How goodly are your tents, Jacob, your dwelling places, Israel. Right? Familiar with that? Beginning of that, you can find the beginning of Shachris. Now, what is Bilam referring to when he says, "How good are your tents, Yaakov"? So Rashi comments, and Rashi's comment is based on the Talmud in Baba Basra. Al shara pischayim she'enim mechuvadim zeh bol zeh. He noticed how the doors, the openings of the tents, were not facing one another. Which means it wasn't like if you open your front door and your neighbor opens the front door, you can see straight inside what's going on. Everybody's door was in a different position, so when it opens, they cannot see into the next person's. That was considered a very, very honorable, private, modest thing. Bilam saw this, and he was overwhelmed. He saw the greatness of the Jewish people, their sensitivity, their respect for one another, their modesty, and that's something that was part of the 3rd blessing that he gave. Mishkanesecha Yisrael, your dwelling place is Israel. Okay, now this is how Rashi explains it, but the Gemara in Sanhedrin seems to have a different explanation as to when we talk about these tents. Which tents are we talking about? Rashi says it means their homes, their tents, where they live. And from the Gemara Sanhedrin, we see it means something else. Now, the Gemara Sanhedrin says that from the blessings, from the blessings of that evil man, referring to Balak, you see what he really meant. Meaning, look at the blessings, and from the blessings, you'll know what he really wanted to do, what he really wanted to say, but Hashem didn't let him. So when he said, Ma toivu alecha Yaakov, go to your tents, Israel, what he really wanted was, Shelo yehu lahem batei knesiyos batei midrashos. The Jewish people should not have batei knesiyos, which means places of gathering, shuls, places of prayer, or batei midrashos, and places of study. But he was forced to say, how good are your tents? He wanted to say there should be no batei knesiyos, there should be no batei midrashos, no gathering places, no study halls. That's what he wanted to say. That's how he wanted to curse the Jewish people. But then he was forced to say, how good are your tents? How good are your tents? So from this Gemara, you see, what does tents refer to? Batei knesiyos and batei midrashos. Shuls will refer to it as shuls and study halls. So what was he referring to when he said your tents? Was he referring to the homes of the Jewish people? Was he referring to the shuls and the batei medrash and the batei medrash and the house of study? Which one was he referring to? Is it an argument between them, what he meant?
Or both?
Or both? And if it's both, is it just randomly both? Is there some kind of connection here between them? So Moshe Feinstein, that tonight is Moshe Feinstein night, he wants to suggest the following. It's an interesting interpretation. And he wants to suggest that actually these two Gemaras, these two intentions work together. In the sense that what again, as the Gemara says, he wanted to curse them that they should not have shuls, they should not have batei medrash. And what was going to happen to them? What was the curse based on what he wanted? How do you think that was going to happen? They were all just going to blow up? They just wouldn't happen? How were they not going to happen? How were they not going to have shuls and batei medrash? They'd be in exile, they'd be destroyed. What does it mean? So Moshe Feinstein wants to suggest an interesting interpretation that actually the praise that Bilam gave to the Jewish people about their tents, about their homes, he wanted that to be the way to undermine the shuls and the Bati Medrash. So I'm going to read you the way the words are brought down here. Okay, Venira, Shehuba b'tainali Yisrael, that what Bilam was trying to say to the Jewish people was, Shenim tzrichem bate knesiyos, they don't need shuls, they don't need study halls. Me'achar shebabatim misnagim betuv, v'yitzarek liyeshivas abate chinuch. He was trying to say, you have such beautiful Jewish homes. What do you need a shul for? Daven at home. What do you need to send your children to a yeshiva for? You have a beautiful home. You could raise them from their home. You don't need a shul. You don't need a school. You don't need a yeshiva. And this is where you see he was trying to curse them. Because the truth is, one cannot rely solely on the raising that's going on in the house. A child needs to come together with friends when they're younger, when they're older. And then to be by teachers and rabbeim that are fit for this. And then hopefully it'll work out together. Meaning, there is meant to be a partnership in the Jewish people. A partnership of the home and where the child gets a Jewish education. He talks about it as the point of a child getting a Jewish education, which the truth is that many years ago, when they taught children Torah, and it was done by a teacher, by a teacher, where did they gather? Didn't have schools, went to the shul. They did it in the shul. But the Medrash refers to, study halls for adults, seemingly. But the way Moshe Feinstein is saying is, the curse was, you don't need the shul. You don't need the Batei Medrash. You don't need your children to have to go to a yeshiva. The home is good enough. You have a beautiful home, beautiful, modest, holy home. What do you need more for that? What do you need more than that? And the truth is, though, that there has to be a partnership between a home and between a education in which they have friends, and not friends not necessarily only for social reasons. Friends to study Torah with, friends who will challenge them in their understanding of Torah, teachers who will guide them in Torah, people who will guide them in the ways of Torah for life. That's going to come from a parent. That's going to come from a teacher. That's going to come from a rebbe. Each one gives what they can give, and the best is both. And the truth is, it really is meant to be both. Are there exceptions to the rule that sometimes a home was enough? Many years ago in the United States, there were no yeshivas. All there was the home. And that sometimes succeeded and very often didn't succeed. And then you have situations of people who did not grow up observant, but they land up becoming interested in Yiddishkeit, and they go in yeshiva and they learn. And in essence, they don't have any kind of Jewish training from their home. They may have other things from their home, other positive traits that they were raised with. So there are times that one can be without the other. But to say that that's the way to do it, it's okay to do it that way, there should only be one without the other, that's not the way it should be. You need both. You need both to be able to have true success. And therefore, Moshe Feinstein says, again, this may be a Hamalitic interpretation, but it's a very interesting idea, that the praise that Bilam said about their homes was the way that he actually wanted to curse them, that he shouldn't have the shuls, they shouldn't have they shouldn't have the study halls. Again, Moshe Feinstein phrases it, he puts it in a phrasing of for the children. But if you think about it, the Yitzhar can say to a person, what do you need to go to shul to daven for? You can daven at home. You have a wonderful home to daven in. Your family will see you daven. You'll daven with your family. Isn't that beautiful? Or you need to go study in a study hall. Study at home. Study in your beautiful holy home, which a person should do because a home should see Torah study going on in the home. But to think that everything could just happen in the home, as beautiful a home that we're supposed to build, no, we need to go to shul. We need to daven in a place where we gather together to daven. We need to go study Torah where we gather together to study Torah. That is where tefillah, prayer, and Torah, that's where they really take place. That's where they really develop. That's where they come to their greatest power. And that's not going to hurt our homes. Because when our homes see that, see how we daven and see how we learn on the highest level, that of course that has a tremendous influence on them. So Bilam was trying to separate the Jewish people from the shul, from the Beis Medrash. How? By saying you have a beautiful home. What do you need to go there for? And that was how he was trying to undermine the shuls. That was the meaning of his curse. So the two things come together. And Hashem said, Ma'teiv alecha Yaakov. You're not going to say that. You're not going to say they shouldn't have shuls. You're not going to say that curse. You're going to say how beautiful are the shuls, how beautiful are the study halls, because that is where the true growth and success of the Jewish people lies. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening and a wonderful Shabbos.
Thank you, everybody. The Torah says